Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. SeKo Starcraft bringing you a pro replay. This is from the WCS qualifiers that happened recently. We have eXXe. Just gonna call him X for this game. Against Root Vibe. Still rocking as a Zerg player down here in the bottom right. One of these new maps. This is a 4-player map. Really funky one. It's got some islands and stuff on it. Haven't had the pleasure of playing on it yet. I may have even vetoed it for my ladder. I don't know. I'm usually a bigger fan of smaller maps where my crappy play doesn't seem as obvious to people. But it is eXXe on a big map, so we'll see what that means. Sometimes that means that, aggressive play happens because you don't want to play it a late game. Sometimes it means that aggressive play just works because the other person thinks, well, it's a big map. I can just go and expand and be free and merry. Huge access point into this base, obviously, which makes it amazing if you're playing Zerg, and really tough if you're playing a Zerg trying to defend. Not many chances to be able to wall that off. Interesting map design because of how big the space is outside of your natural there. And it makes it for somebody with a lot of mobility have a really big advantage in the early game. Everything seems pretty straightforward and similar here at the beginning. We'll see if either of these guys wants to go Mick Hatch first or Mick Spawning Pool. Shouldn't talk about McDonald's, I'm getting kind of hungry. Do like the little root logo there, I think that's pretty cool. And there will be a pool first on this side and Hatch first on this side. It's interesting of so many Zerg games that I do cast that it's so often that you run into people that just seem to do the opposites in eXXe. Somebody will always go Hatch first and somebody will always go pool first. Doesn't seem to be too often I run into mirror Hatch or mirror pools. And we'll come down here for Das Expansion, yeah. And we should be seeing our pool. So it's going to be pretty straightforward, pretty standard up to this point. Everybody's queens came by and set high on the way past. But nobody went out for a drone scout. Both likely very confident in their ability to control early on in the game. Pool is finished. Queen first. Let's see if he makes a couple of Zerglings just to go on a scouting path. That's generally a nice thing to do. A little bit more speed than a drone. And obviously it's not going to cost you the economy. 4 lings coming out. And on this side, we should have our pool wrapping up here in just another minute or so. I hope everybody's had a chance to play on some of these newer maps. I thought it was really interesting to see them thrown in so quickly and the tournament starts so quickly. Like, these are pro players, so I'm sure they sit down at home and really work on these maps until they get them just right. But they're very different, very new maps for this season. And we can see that this is a... they should be knowing where each other are at this point because they saw the overlords. I think these Zerglings were hidden, so I don't believe that X here will see that they are on the way. Still, he'll have out queens and some drones. Should be able to hold it off. No problem. We'll see if he's getting any damage. But anyways, back to being screwed up by people that go for different builds. Trick in this here with these kind of maps is getting used to where really good cheese locations are. He's actually going after the queen. Can he get this? Oh, yeah. If he actually pulled a few more drones, that probably would have survived. That's a big loss for X there. Very surprised about that. Speed is on the way right now for Vibe. 2 gases at the natural for X. Keep thinking of like DMX whenever that comes out there. It just sounds bad. It's actually a really fast layer here. Now, what could this be for? These gases aren't taken yet, so it's not going to be a 2-base Muta. Couldn't imagine. Could be for a really fast roach speed. Something that he intends to try to end the game much quicker with. On this side, this queen might be able to venture out and snipe one of these down, but sometimes it's difficult to know. We're going to have a roach warren wall off here. You gotta be careful sometimes where you place your creep tumors because they get in the way of how you want to wall off. So you may end up killing those 2 in the back. And it looks to me like X here wants to play a bit of a longer game. It's not because he's got Evo chambers, but he wants to move this creep so his roaches, I think, can protect another base. The 3rd base is so far away on this map. It makes it very, very difficult to, early on in a game, try to take any more actual... take any more bases before you really have a commanding army out. We do finally have the 4 gases down, so it could be still for... Yes, it is 2-base Spire. He did shoo away that Overlord, so that won't be able to see anything else just for right now. And on this side, just roaches. Sometimes you can get into like roach base trades where you send across like a whole pile of roaches and they go for a bunch of damage, and sometimes they work. Other times, those roaches just have a limited lifespan. They have to do damage because they're not going to get home against the mutas. He's actually getting a baneling nest as well. Overseer will come in here and scout. If he scouted into the natural, he'd see the roaches. But because he is not, he will obviously not see the roaches. He's getting down a spine at home and a bunch of lings out, spending his minerals, keeping his gas, piling up. And we got drones going across. I wonder if that's on purpose. Like, he could be using them to throw down offensive spine crawlers. We have the desperation wall on this side as well. Bunch of lings are going to get out to the other side. He did see this coming. The spire's about to go down. He should be able to get out if he saves his money. 6 mutas here. But let's see. He threw down a couple of spine crawlers, which he might have to, just to try to keep alive just a bit longer here. He's just really trying to delay X from getting into his base. Does anybody else have an unfortunate enough childhood to want to sing DMX with me? 7 mutas on the way, and this delay tactics from Vibe, it looks like they're going to work out. He's picking off small groups of lings that are reinforcing. Big baneling surge coming out. So it's just going to be about control here from Vibe. Of whether or not... Oh, and he's just going to G-Street straight the hell out. Oh, man. If X just pushed and hit this, maybe he had a chance. Like, it's not a big drone saturation or anything like that. So if he did enough damage, maybe. But the mutas would have picked off all of these banelings before they could have been effective. So his delays by these zerglings really cost him. But we're going on to game number 2. Root Vibe up 1-0.